Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you are on the Lifeboat. What's happening? Just Joan, good to see you. Bada bing, bada boom. How are you? Neptune Lioness, glad to have you here. Chicken Cherry Cola. Hey, it's my wife. Hey Reese, how are you? Cat. That's my wife, by the way, behind me. If you've never hit subscribe at Relatable Reese, you ought to. This one isn't going to take a long time. The thumbnail is truthful on this one. Do me a favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notification. It really does help. I did a show yesterday, and a lot of people watched it, which is cool. But this is such an unusual way to make a living. It's one of the most bizarre things that you could possibly do and actually get paid for. It is it's beyond bizarre, if you want to know the truth. Yesterday I said, you know what, this isn't a show I want to do, and I've got a lot of comments from people that go, yeah, whatever. Go watch the 4,000 shows that I've done and find one where I'm talking about another content creator. This is literally one of the most distasteful things that you can do as a content creator. And I got, I don't want to say pushed into doing it. Yeah, maybe I will, right? There were a lot of people that said, look, this is true crime. Don't be a coward. Like, obviously this guy's your friend. We've never met. And obviously if you watched last night's show, I wouldn't call us friends. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get a Christmas card from the cat anyway. There's not much chance of that. But when you do a show like that, a lot of times people love the message and they hit subscribe, which is awesome, right? Because it's what we do for a living, right? And the more people that hit subscribe, normally the bigger paycheck you get, and that's never a bad thing, right? It's almost always a good thing, but it isn't necessarily always a good thing. And I'll tell you why. If you're showing up for that kind of content, you should probably go and watch the rest of what I do. Because if there are people that say, I can't wait to see your next show. Comments. I can't wait to see your next show on him. There's not going to be a next show on him. If he ends up being prosecuted for this, then it becomes a true crime story. I had enough people in my audience that screamed that I do that show. My cat's name is Squirrel. You probably saw her last night. My channel named her. The name of the channel was picked by the audience. And I've done this since the very beginning of the show. And if enough people beg me to do something, more often than not, I will do it. In the comment section, there's about 350 comments or something on last night's video, which is a lot for me. We usually do a lot. This was a lot. And the engagement was off the chain. But the number of people whose vitriol was dripping, and I'm probably didn't help that. They also listed a whole group of people that they wanted me to go after. Oh, you need to take down this person. You need to take down that person. I'll shut this shit down before I will do that. I don't take pleasure in it. I wasn't BSing last night when I said that's not a show I enjoy doing. It's not something I dig. I like talking about true crime. I don't like talking about people in the community that we live in and that we hang out in. I find it really reprehensible. There are times where the crime itself is foul. And there are things that, hey, Katie Fulton, good to see you. Long time no see. Every time I think of you constantly. If I say this now, I'll scare away the entire audience. But Katie Fulton is very close friends with my wife, and there's a running joke there. When we all know each other better, I'll tell you the joke. But it's always good to see you, Katie Fulton. So I had about 4 different shows that I was planning on rolling with today, but I thought it was probably a decent idea to come on and give people an idea of who I am, because a lot of the people that subscribed last night are going to come back for that same kind of content, and I promise you're not going to see it. I did a show on Wes Watson, so if you saw that, you go, oh, he goes after these content creators. I've been talking about Wes Watson because he's a pathological liar. I spent a lot of time in prison, and Wes Watson came out of prison and was very honest. He came in and said, I couldn't do time the way other people did. I checked in. This is a term that means I couldn't walk mainline, right? I was afraid of being in mainline prison, so I went into protective custody, right? This is what he said. And then when that didn't sell, or his attitude changed, and he started to get a little bit of bass in his voice, and people began to feed off of that. And very often in YouTube, what happens is when somebody starts to get a little bit of action from the audience, they run with it. Punisher, good to see you. How are you? They run with it. Right? And he became something else. And it literally permeated every part of this guy's personality until he became the biggest joke alpha male on the internet. And I've probably done 2 or 3 shows on him. If someone is abusive to women, I usually will say something about it. And there were some comments last night about people who really took umbrage with my language. And half of my vitriol, unfortunately, was at the fact that I had to do the show. Being called a coward isn't something I dig. Being accused of ducking and dodging something, no man, I think, puts up with that nicely. And if you've been to prison, it's something that probably puts a little bit of a different chip on your shoulder. I'm not a coward, but if there was anything cowardice, it's probably getting pushed by an audience to do a show that doesn't feel comfortable to you. And normally you got, you get 20,000 views or 18,000 views or something like that. Especially for a channel that says rape, suicide, bullet, gun, terrorist, child porn, all the shit you're not allowed to say, right? When you get that kind of engagement and you actually get a video that starts to catch fire. We had one last month, did about 65,000, which for this show, which for the boat is a good size, live stream. It's very easy to go down a road that you don't want to go down. If you're hoping I'm going to troll everybody on the internet, this isn't going to be your show. The next show that I do is going to be on the Murdoch case, because there's a fascinating stuff going on. I like talking about true crime. I talk about it from the other side of the equation. I like to engage the audience. I like to allow people to weigh in. But what happened with this particular content creator, with JOR, has not, in my opinion, been very good for the true crime community. And when you become the story in true crime, life sucks, right? It does. Not just it's great for the person that does it because you get paid. But if the New York Post is doing articles on you, and every time you see the Guthrie family kind of pop out, like when they walked down to put those flowers, to the best of my knowledge, he wasn't there that day, right? Like they waited for that cat to not be there before they went outside. He's become such a part of the story that it overshadows the stuff that we're talking about. And it may actually affect the case in some ways, right? The pizza delivery that got sent to the front door, he didn't order it, right? But he certainly was smack dab in the middle of it. And a lot of shit that has happened in this case, he's been smack dab in the middle of. But I got to be honest with you, man. And if the 500 and 600, whatever subscribers that popped on last night all leave, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Because I talk about true crime. I don't talk about people. I talk about concepts. I don't talk about people that do what I do for a living. And a lot of people weighed in and said, it's jealousy over views. Man, you don't know shit, with all due respect. If you think I'm somebody that caters to that crap, then you haven't watched any of my content, right? People say pew pew because the algorithm doesn't push you out if you say the word gun. People say grape instead of rape because the algorithm doesn't push you out if you say rape. And I don't censor my speech for YouTube, and I'm not going to change it. Or my content because it pays better. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's a very, very odd way to make a living. And there are people that really liked me until last night. There's a woman named Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann, if you're watching, good to have you here, who has just sent me some of the most vitriolic shithead emails that you could possibly wrap your brain around. And where I've been accused of everything from, raping collies to escaping to South America to avoid extradition treaties in the United States. Again, you know what? True crime communities, do 30 seconds of research. I picked one of the countries in South America that has the most bulletproof extradition treaty with the United States. Here in Ecuador, we spend US dollars. Here in Ecuador, we are really tight with the United States, and they have a bulletproof extradition treaty. I came through the front door. I filed citizenship papers. So all of the people that said I ran from the United States and all of the other lunacy, the difference between me and other content creators that kind of get outed is I've been here for years. And I have been outed, re-outed, unouted, lied about, dug up, reburied. Everything about me is out there. There's 4,000 videos. Go deep dive them. You find everything you ever wanted to know. I do Ask Me Anything content, usually, if not once a week, once every other week. But this is a true crime channel, right? This is a true crime channel. Hey, Mr. R, good to see you. This is a true crime channel. With all due respect, a lot of the channels that cover people like that are glorified trolls. I'm not going to sit and talk about somebody's character 7 days a freaking week. I'm going to cover the crimes that happen in this country. We do a lot of stuff on conspiracy theories. We're rolling out a tinfoil hat day every week where we're going to talk about some of those conspiracy theories. Because I'll be honest with you, Mopman says no such thing as extradition. They want you, they take you. True. But in certain countries, all they got to do is make a phone call and go, do me a favor, man. Yeah, you know what? I do tell it like it is. And I appreciate that, Tony. I do. And sometimes maybe a little bit too much, man. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much, but I'm never going to stop that either. And I got into to true crime like big time during the Danny Masterson trial, and picked a fight with the cult of Scientology, which is a fun group of people to pick a fight with. They'll send people to your house. They'll put up websites about you. They'll trash you. Like, they got an $8 billion budget to try to make people think you're a piece of shit. On the bright side, if you're a good person, that can be devastating. If you're somebody that spent most of your life in crime, not true crime, but committing crime, what are you going to say about me that I haven't already told everybody about anyway? So I did the only logical thing and married a Scientologist, an ex-Scientologist. We're going to be doing some shows on Scientology. If you're new to true crime and you don't know Scientology, then you don't know true crime. I'm sorry, it's the truth. The crime families in the Italian mob is 90% dead. It really is. Those things are no longer alive. The cult of Scientology is the strongest true crime organization crime family in the United States of America, in my opinion. If you've never seen any of the stuff that we've done on it, it's terrifying, man. It's an absolutely terrifying cult, and those are coming up. But I promise you, if you're here to hear me trash this guy 7 days a week, the exit is just past the water cooler on the left. And I had people that reached out to me today, people I dig, that said, hey, man, can't wait to the next show on this. People are digging it. You got to go deeper. No, I don't. I promise you I went deep enough. If there's more out there about this guy, I don't care. I really don't. Because until this guy becomes the true crime story, I'm just not. One of the reasons that was important to do is because his name gets brought up on average probably 400 times a day when I'm doing a live stream on Nancy Guthrie. And the vast majority of people will say things like, hey, man, did you hear what JLR said? Love his content. You got to go like this. Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll say, I don't talk about content creators. And I'm not good at biting my lip. I'll be really honest with you. It's not my forte. If it was, I would make more money. Avoiding those kinds of controversies and not having anything to do with that kind of shit normally is the way to continue to get a channel that grows and to continue to get paid. He has pissed off so many people that I promise you I can make a hell of a lot more money trashing him. I'm not a content creator that's going to make $1 million in a year. And I don't know that I'd want to be. And that may sound really stupid to a lot of people, but I can interact with an audience if it gets up to about 1,000 people in the live chat. I can actually pop in and talk to people. Thank you, Neptune Lioness. Thank you for keeping free speech alive. I can interact with the audience and I can do cool shit. If it got up to 40,000, people go, he doesn't talk to anyone in the audience anymore. I don't like the cat. But with all due respect, you got 40K in the live chat. Of course you're not interacting with anybody. Right? If you look at what chat rates are, his chat rate is probably 30,000, 40,000 comments an hour. I mean, God bless him. He could have 9 mods and he wouldn't be able to interact with that audience. I honestly don't ever want to be that. And the nice thing is I don't need to be, right? This is yesterday's, by the time it's all said and done, just a little inside baseball. That's probably a $200, $300 live stream from yesterday. For real. That's a profitable live stream for a show like mine. I don't know that I'd be fired up to give up the interaction with the audience for a paycheck. So those of you who go, yeah, you're just jealous. I assure you I'm not. When the Sean Diddy Combs case was cooking, I was doing live chats for another channel. I had a full-time show on another channel that I was paid to do. And we would have 30,000 people in the chat, and it wasn't fun. It really wasn't. I mean, it's good for your ego. It's a lot of fun for your ego, but it's not. You have to develop a completely different kind of show. I don't come on the way other people do, where I got a cheat sheet in front of me or 3 computer screens, right? I come on and I talk about theories of true crime, and then I read what people say and I react to that. My audience is such a part of my show that it's friggin' ridiculous. And if you've never watched that, if your only exposure to me was last night, I didn't interact with the audience last night in the way that I normally do. It wasn't something I could do because, number one, the show started out real bad. A lot of people commented on that too. I edited out the beginning. Do you know why? Because my mother would have heard a lot of really foul talk between 2 boys that she happened to have given birth to. It was well, thank you, Reese. She says, you're also a babe. And you know what? I'm right fond of that woman. Well, thank you, Vicky Hurley. You are family. I catch a lot of shit from new people that say you spend way, way too much time talking about it. You know what? And thank you very much for the support Leslie, it means the world, and it does keep this going. Make no mistake, I do survive in my show differently than other people do. There are people, I got an email yesterday that said, I swear to God, from last night's show that said, real easy to pick on people when you're making 30 grand a month. 30 grand a month? Look, if you're new to YouTube, if you make $10 for every 1,000 views, you're killing it. For real, that's a really good CPM. That's a really good payout per thousand. There are people that can get up to 14 or 15. The average is closer to like 4 to 5. So you can survive doing a crap load of views, or you can survive having a group of people that watch you and are faithful enough that they actually support what you're doing. And the more you don't play Google Alphabet, the big red buttons game, there is a unpublished list of words that will kill every single video you do. I was sexually assaulted as a kid. I'm not going to say smexual smalt because that is so disrespectful to all of the other survivors. I'm not going to say grape because I have had hundreds, without exaggeration, of emails from men and women that said I was raped. And every time I hear someone say grape on a channel, it makes me want to kill someone. I would just assume lose a little bit of that algorithm. And it's been beneficial because they came up with that hype button. And then every day someone will hype one of my videos. I got 600 hypes, I think, in 1 week, which is for a channel this size is insane. But a little food for thought also. Engagement in YouTube, a little inside baseball, engagement is usually considered 2 to 4%, ain't bad. So you got an audience of 100,000 people and you get about 4,000 views. And out of that 4,000 views, you get maybe 400 people that hit the like. You're killing it. If you look at how many likes we get for the number of views or how many comments we get for the number of views, our engagement is higher than 90% of the channels you're going to come across. And I'm not spitting that out as a stupid number. I actually looked it up. And if your engagement is above 90% and everybody loves what you're doing, but it seems to stop at a window, you can't use the word shadow banned. Did you know that one? They freaking hate the term shadow banned. I'm not shadow banned. False flag's not a good one either. I'm not shadow banned, but I'm certainly not pushed by the algorithm the way that other people are, right? There is so much more to talk about than a sick freak. Yeah. And it gets really vitriolic whether you want it to or not. When I covered Danny Masterson, I became probably more involved in the case than I'm ever going to do again. And it was a beautiful experience. I met the survivors of Danny Masterson, right? At least all but one of them I met in person and developed a friendship or two with some of them and got a chance to go out to the sentencing. And when I got to the sentencing, there were people that were fairly famous who came up and went, "Hey, I know who you are." And I was like, I don't like that. I seem really out and really open. And I get a lot of people that reach out. I got an email from someone that said, "Boy, what I would really love is to have you be a sponsor of mine because I'm a recovering heroin addict." I sponsor a couple of people. There's a couple of things about that, right? Number one, you really got to want to get sober. You got to be into it. And number two, you have to have a penis, right? Men probably shouldn't sponsor women. It's a bad call because the better you are at it, the more that there's a chance of feelings to develop and all kinds of shit. And I learned this stuff along the way. But I'm also not particularly social. It certainly comes across like I am because of what I do here. But after 30 years of doing heroin, where I was absolutely the most social person you've ever seen because all of the emotions that made me want to run from people were dulled. Now that they're not, I keep to a really small circle, almost to a point where it's probably creepy. Love your style, Tommy. Keep it real. We are all adults here. Well, thank you. You know what? I like to pride myself on the fact that this really is a place that I think there are more adults in my audience, for real. And then just a couple other things. So yesterday we were cooking, right? I don't know what we had in here, but we were over 1,000 people in the live chat, which is doing really well for us. Hey, almost 800 of you here. Do me a favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notification. It helps. It really does. I'm a YouTuber. But when you got that many people in, you got the people that really are adults, and then you got people that go, Brian Enton's gay. If you're homophobic, if you don't like black people because they're black, you can leave. Right? If you see the bald head, the goatee, the prison tats, and you assume that I'm a guy that doesn't like black people, my favorite person on planet Earth is black. He saved my life. He's just a really good human being. And I don't do hate. I don't. So if you don't like people because of who they're sleeping with, if that person consented to sleeping with them, I don't want to hear that shit in my chat. And I'm not You can have any opinion you want. The beautiful thing about free speech, the United States of America, all that, you literally can say whatever you want, but you can't say it in my living room. I can't go to your living room and start yelling hard R N words, right? I can, but you might hit me with a bat. And free speech protects you from getting incarcerated for the stupid shit that you say. It doesn't stop you from getting punched in the face. It doesn't stop you from getting fired by your boss, right? You can come out and go, I'm so glad Charlie Kirk got shot, right? That was a great thing. And your boss can go, I don't want you to work for me anymore. He didn't violate your free speech. He exercised his. Right? Maybe that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. But I'm not going to have hate in my chat. And when you do a live stream that a shitload of people watch, you're going to get people in your live chat that aren't your family, that aren't part of the crew. And you get haters, and you get people that are Nazis, and you get people that it's just sort of the nature of the beast. And a lot of people just sort of go and move by those comments. Or you get people that want to grandstand and tell you what an asshole you are and do it in some passive aggressive manner like, oh, so if I disagree with you? No, you can disagree with me. If you come in and say, the woman that JLR punched in the face and had to have reconstructive surgery on her nose lied in the past about XYZ, there's no ipso facto there. Right? You understand this concept? Because of this, that. So because she lied at one time, she's absolutely lying about getting punched in the beak. I was a heroin addict for 30 years. I promise you I have lied more than anybody you've ever met. Seriously. I was also a criminal. I got more felonies than anyone you're ever going to meet. If you're cool with that, that's fantastic. But if those things mean once a felon, always a felon, or if those things mean like, I was waiting for this, you guy's a felon. Just past the water cooler on the left is the exit. Ruth Ann, we're not an airline. You don't have to declare that you're leaving. And look, you know what? You want to leave? Leave. But if you become one of those obsessive weirdos who leaves but has to send me 4 emails a day afterwards, you're a fan. You know what that word is, right? Fan. It comes from the word fanatic. You're never going to hear me call my audience fans. I'll call my trolls fans because they're friggin' fanatics. There are people that want to be such a part of a content creator's life that they'll call the police and tell them that they smuggle children. They'll call Homeland Security and tell them they're a drug dealer. Or they'll call just the most ridiculous shit in the world. This, what we do for a living, people ask every day why I live in Ecuador. Because I'm a content creator. Try being a content creator, especially one who has been in prison 3 times. Was a bank robber, right? All the things that I've done. The hatred, the number of people that will just hate me because of what I do for a living. Toss in that lousy, mother-loving cult, Scientology, and I didn't feel safe in that country, which is a bummer. And it's not a fault of the United States. I don't hate the United States. I hate the way I get treated there, right? Definitely give you respect for your stand. Love your show. Tina, what a beautiful thing to say. I really appreciate it. And thank you for helping to keep free speech alive. But I know I'm going to bum some people out. Oh, and you know what? So every once in a while, last night, Neptune Linus gave 10 memberships, turned 10 people green. I missed it. We were cooking. I hate missing stuff like that. 825 is what we got in the chat. I love that's a good number. For real. Up to about 1,500 is great. It starts getting over that, maybe I'll just start offending some people again. You're jealous. I'd rather suck a fart out of a baboon's ass and hold it like a bong hit than have 30,000 people in my live chat. I'm not kidding you. I stopped worshiping money right around the 3rd prison rip. God, no, there's no lure of that shit for me anymore. I got a really nice watch collection. I own my home in Ecuador. I'm 100 yards from the ocean. I got a woman I am madly in love with, who's got a great YouTube channel. If you've never been over to Relatable Reese, you should check it out. She's a lot kinder than I am and a hell of a lot funnier. But and I live with one of my best friends, right? And soon, hopefully, I'm going to be living with both of my best friends when my wife moves down here full time. But this is one of those situations that this isn't a great show to do for business. There will be a lot of people that unsubscribe because of the things that I'm saying now, man. And I hope that that's the case. I really hope I can run off the people that just hope that I've got shit dripping off of my fangs like I did last night on all 365 days a year. That isn't me. And if I'm sure it comes off like I really hate the dude. I hate his actions in a really big way. I think 90% of what this guy's done since getting out of prison has been just scumbaggery. Right now, that said, The other half of pissed off was the fact that I had to do the show. I hate getting pushed into doing stuff I don't want to do. I don't like talking about content creators. I can give you a list right now of, without exaggeration, dozens upon dozens upon dozens of channels that have shredded me. I don't engage in that shit. You want to make it go do an expose? It's going to be lies. I answer to the lies. I got to answer to the next set of lies. I came here to talk about true crime, right? What I talked about last night is a guy that is so deep into the true crime and a case that I'm covering pretty tightly that it became something that I sort of bowed to what the audience wanted, because that had to be talked about. But if you're hoping that that's my go-to content, you're not going to dig this channel. You're not. And I know a lot of you are like the Murdoch show I do tomorrow is one of the most important. If you're into true crime, like honestly, like the genre, it's probably one of the most important shows that you can see in true crime, because that guy's a scumbag. He shot his kid in the head. I believe that wholeheartedly. However, that case has been botched so badly that it's a fascinating study. He's going to get a new trial. Whatever you choose to cover, I'm here for it. Surprise you didn't know that. Barbara Wade. I love the surprise you didn't know that. Thank you so much, Barbara Wade. And I know you will be. Barbara's a family member here. Miss Sunrise Dawn, speaking of family members, good to see you. New to the channel and subbed to you, Relatable. Well, you're going to thank me for that later. Nobody ever wants their money back except Ruth Ann. Tommy, I'm going to send you an email about Patreon in the next day or two. Please keep an eye on it for it. I will do that. Gary Mackey, anything you did, I'd keep an eye out. Another family member here. Been a really supportive cat for a really long time. Has absolutely no taste when it comes to the brothers. Seems to think for some unknown reason that my brother is the younger brother. Courthouse Becky, see that? Oh, yeah. See, there's a true crime aficionado. Courthouse Becky screwed the Murdoch case. You damn right she did. She's going to get him a new trial. And you know what she should get? A prison rip. That woman should be in prison. But I don't want to give away too much of that. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow. And I really hope that you come by and check it out. Also, we got the David and Celeste case coming up. David's going to get indicted on this. D4VD, the guy that allegedly chopped up a 14-year-old girl and stuck her in the trunk of his car after he was done playing with her. There's an indictment on the way on that. Don't let anybody fool you. That's definitely an indictment coming on that. And we're going to have a pretty cool case to cover in that. Justice needs to happen. And for those that don't get true crime, it's been a hell of a year for justice already. Last year hurt, right? We had Diddy. We had a lot of things last year that you just walked away going, man, true crime sucks. This year was way different. This year, we're off to a good start. The Alexander brothers, reprehensible scumbags that raped women, sexually assaulted women after drugging them, flying them around the country. They're never going to get out. These guys, and they're billionaires. This is justice. White billionaires, or really close, $800 million or something like that. And they're not going to get out of prison. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Corey Richards is going to spend the rest of her life in prison. That's a really beautiful thing. Justice is absolutely... D4VD sounds like an STD. Whine a little bit more. He is a walking STD. I promise you. That's one reason it was epic, because you didn't want to do it, but had to keep it real and get it off your chest. Our chest. You know what? What a great way to put that. Thank you. My email address is my name, TommyScoville@gmail.com. And I'll tell you something. If you don't put a really good subject, I'm never going to see it. Like if you put Guthrie case, or you put something that is germane to what we're talking about, because, and I'm not being no, not Rupert Murdoch. No, this was a gentleman out of South Carolina whose entire family, this is no shit, in the town he lived in for 120 years, there was a Murdoch that was the prosecuting attorney in that town. And then he had to get prosecuted for killing his wife and his son in a really, really incredible case. But I will go over all the case tomorrow, so come here and check it out. Yeah, it's Murdoch, not Murdoch. New here, love your honesty. Also, really enjoy Reese. Well, as I said, if your name isn't Ruth Ann, you probably do. Corey Richards, justice prevails, right? Tell me that doesn't make you feel good as a true crime people. Yeah, Tracy Pratt, the Sonia Massey case. By the way, if there's a case you guys want to talk about on here, do me a favor and make sure that you put into the chat after the show any case that you want us to talk about, because I'm not joking. The audience really does kind of steer this. which is a beautiful thing. Welcome, Lisa. I love that. I really do. And you know something? You think you enjoy Reese. I'm sorry, but boy, do I enjoy Reese. He does pronounce it Murdoch himself. It's not spelled that way, but he does. Alex is a really odd guy, and he did almost as much dope as I did, which is fascinating, right? To be a lawyer that was doing the amount of opiates that I did is just somewhat fascinating. Thought criminal. You know what? I could do polls on it, but the easiest way in the world is to just tell people to put up the cases they want to cover, because most will not. So if you're a person that's going to leave a comment on that, you can steer the direction of this channel. The Punisher. I don't believe that I'm getting your emails, bud.
What are you getting?
No, I don't. I know I got them in the beginning. Also, more about the Reiner case. I'm doing an update on Reiner this week on the Nick Reiner case. That would be the Michelle and Rob Reiner murder case. The only reason that we haven't been going full bore on that, because I'll be honest, of all of the cases going on right now, that's the one that I'm most interested in, hands down. Fascinating case. But the it's an odd situation. Hold on one second. I will come get some, Reese. You need to come here. I think your show is outstanding. Your ability to have raw, unfiltered, and open discussions is unique. Thank you. And screw the haters. Boy, that was beautifully said. Chris Watts, you know what? Almost already in the can. I have been researching this this one for, I'm not shitting you, probably a year. Because I believe it's coming. And when it does, I'm going to be ready to roll, Leslie. This is, for those that think they know the Chris Watts case, and he was the piece of shit that killed his wife because he was having an affair, and he took his kids and drowned them in oil. He's just a really, really difficult case to get through. You know what? Stick with that U of A game. No, you will be a lot happier if you just stick with that. I talked about a content creator, and I know that if you're someone that's been around this show for a long time, you're going to go, you talked about a what? Yeah, Leslie. So the mistress in the Chris Watts case, I believe, not only instigated it, I think she was involved in it. I think she knew about it pre and post crime. So I think she was part of the premeditation and was hoping to be part of the cover up as well. And look, I never pick on audience members. I can't back that up. Sometimes I'm a dick. And if I ever am and I'm wrong, I usually will come out and apologize. I bounced somebody out last night, and the night before I got crap for this. Stephanie, I promise you that's on the Mom Man says, attention trolls, I'm loaded for fun. That's the spirit. Wow, Miss Sunrise Dawn says, my piece of shit ex-husband used to threaten to go Chris Watts on me. Can't wait to hear your take on that case. Good God. Ruth Ann, come out wherever you are. Reese is ready to play. I'm sorry. A couple of nights ago, I had somebody in the chat that was talking about Savannah Guthrie. And she said, Savannah Guthrie doesn't care whether her mom is gone or not. She just wants to see her face on NBC. And I said, yeah, I don't know that that's the truth. I said, people that create content or people that do that, a lot of times it's what you do for work. And it's not that everybody thinks you're just one of those people that wants to sit in front of a camera and get really, really fired up about it. And usually it's just part of a job like anything else. And you just sort of walk away. Thank you, Shelly Mosier. What a kind thing to say. I'm a Brian Anthony fan myself. And I don't know whether he's gay or straight. And I couldn't give two shits. But this woman, I said, I was very kind. And then she said, and I continued to go on. And she was like, no, it's not that. But I got sources at NBC. And she's a blah, 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 blah. And I was kind. And then I said, and I don't think this woman's faking it. If so, she's the greatest actress in the world. Look at just how tough this has been on her. You can watch her age before her eyes. And she goes, that isn't aging. She's just not wearing makeup so that it looks worse. And you know what? I said, you know what? Now you just sound like a bitch. And I got a lot of emails for that. The people said, you know what? You shouldn't use that word, whatever. That woman's a bitch. Seriously. You want to take a shot at someone whose mother is missing, who's aging before our eyes, literally wasting away before our eyes. You can watch the suffering. If that woman's faking it, every Academy Award on earth should go to her from now until the end of time. and to just keep poking at her and poking at her. Like, I was kind the first 3 times. Now you're just being a bitch. Sorry, it's a word that occasionally does need to get used. I don't refer to women as "yo, my bitch" kind of a thing, but it's that one. If that woman wasn't acting like one, she's going to do until somebody shows up that actually deserves that word. Okay, well, how about that? That's what first time I ever got that comment in chat. I just rubbed one out a few minutes ago, bro. Good for you, man. I understand it helps with sleep. People handle grief differently. I do better if I can get back to work and get my mind off it for a while. Bad Mama C, I agree with you.
I still wonder about the rub-in thing versus rub-out.
Oh, it's a male versus female. That's all that is. Hey, Susan. Yeah, this one, I've done a couple on this. I've been covering this one for a minute. However, it's about to ramp up. The stuff that came out from in California, the stuff that came out from the grand jury lists him as there's a case against him. There's literally a case against him. Can't make this stuff up. I love you, Reese, more than you can imagine. I really do. You know what? The only thing weirder than being a content creator and doing this for a living is being married to a content creator who also does this for a living. And it's not one of those things where, like, you know, she's got 4 videos up and she doesn't have an audience. She has a very, very dedicated audience of people that watch her and love her. And it's rabid audience. And it's weird having that both. And the ability to let your mate do what they do on the show and go, it's her show, man. And there was a time where I was probably a little more conservative on my show. And I've sort of opened up a little bit more, maybe because I give a crap less. But there's something beautiful about watching the person that you love create, right? Rabid. I say that in the best sense of the word. Your fans are rabid. The people that the relatable researchers, they'll kill you, man. They'll kill you. And that's a good thing, man. Do you have rabies? If so, you might have got it from me. That's all I'm saying. All right, people, I'm going to tell you something else. A little more honesty. People have said to me, is there anything about South America that you don't like? Until this last month, I would have said no. But it's a very, very odd thing. This works a little different in South America than it works in North America, right? Phones down here are a little bit different. And what you end up with in South America sometimes, this phone got updated and my facial recognition needed to be updated. I lost all of my apps. I couldn't get into any app. So I couldn't sell Bitcoin. I couldn't, move money around. I couldn't do anything for like 2 weeks. And it finally got fixed today. But I have done more running around today than I've done since I got to Ecuador. It's about 84 degrees out. I don't drive, nor will I ever again. So it was, I walked 3 or 4 miles and then I took taxi cabs. And between Johnny and I don't think we stopped from the time that we got up in the morning, which has turned me into a grouchy shithead. And I probably sounded grouchier last night. Yeah. So it made for a rough day. And I almost didn't go live today. I also have fallen asleep like a guy with narcolepsy about 3 times today. And I'm going to go to sleep here shortly. But I wanted to come on here and tell mostly the new people. There's a lot of folks here that have been watching me for a long time that get an idea, that have a really good idea of who I am. And sometimes I come across more like a convict than a kind person. And that's always going to happen. I spent 13 years around a lot of animals. And at that time, I was one of them. That woman has done more to calm me down and turn me into a human being than just about anybody on earth, with the exception probably of my friend Q. In fact, I talked to him today and he said, I'm so glad that she took over and I didn't have to keep doing it. But I'm gonna have to say sorry from time to time. I'm not afraid to. I'm not sorry about last night's show. I'm sorry about some of the language. Not because, F-bombs are going to kill anybody or anything else, but I got a really good vocabulary. I'm a great communicator, and I don't need that, right? I'm better than that. And I don't mean as a human. I don't care what your vocabulary is or how you play with it, but I'm better at it as a communicator. Like I can tell you to F off and do it without using the F word, right? My dad used to say, tact is telling somebody to go to hell and having them look forward to the ride. If you do it right, you don't have to do that stuff, and I didn't, right? So, but no apologies for the content, and I'm not going to apologize. Look, I know he's got fans, and the fans are going to hate me because of what I did last night. Do yourself a favor and just research the shit before you want to hate me for it. Right. And if you're not going to go and research the things that I said last night, then true crime probably isn't your genre. I mean, you can do it like ancillary and kind of just hang on the outskirts of it. But if you actually start like Googling stuff and doing deep dives into the true crime genre, it is going to be a very different feeling for you to get off of the ground. See, Reese admits it. I have rabies. Tommy, when I was starting my channel, you helped me so much. Couldn't seem to get 100 subs and you helped. Now I'm almost at 4K. Good for you. And I do remember that. And I'm proud of you. Love that, Miss Sunrise Dawn. And you know what? Look, there's 820 people here. If you haven't gone over there and hit subscribe, go over and check her out. See if it works for you. And make sure that you go over to Chase the Heat. That is my brother, the Johnny Scoville, who Johnny's done a couple of reality shows. Johnny's the famous Scoville. Go over and check him out. I saw a comment today that said, holy shit. I turned that show on last night and thought, this guy looks just like Johnny Scoville. Those comments always kills me. No, Grouchy, not me. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you. And so go over there and check out my wife, Relatable Reese. Hit subscribe. The more of you that do that, the more I can work her for all kinds of, she's going to be coming down to see me soon. So between now and the next time I see you, do me a favor. Deep dive the people that you think are, that anybody that says anything about somebody in true crime, just go and research it. And it does a lot of really cool things. And one of them is it makes you, hey, Pete Taylor, it makes you better at what you do in terms of being into true crime. This isn't like other genres. Right, especially on this channel. Like we ask you to participate in this. We want to know your theories. We want to. Just Joan, that's a beautiful thing to say. No convict would leave his apartment to save a woman, a stranger, to help her get away from a man. That's a kind thing to say. Hey, Philip, have a good night's sleep. I hope those tranks carry you peacefully through the morning. All right, people, thank you for your support and for keeping free speech alive. You really are the greatest audience on YouTube. And I hope that a lot of the new people come over and become part of that greatest audience on YouTube. But if you're here to watch me trash content creators, you're not going to dig it. Between now and the next time I see you, pray for the Guthrie family. They need it. And go hit subscribe at my brother and my wife's channel. You're going to thank me later. I'm Tommy. We will see you on the next one. Have a great night. Bye-bye.